All right. All right. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
From Paris. It's 8 p.m. here. It's 11. It was still the 11th. And 11 again.
It is.
Time where all you are for our November 11th, the month of the 11th month, 11/11. So we've got 3 11s. It's the 11/11/11, our third anniversary of doing 11/11s every month for the last 3 years, which is pretty remarkable and exciting.
Wow.
That's phenomenal to me.
Yeah,
it's like,
it
wow.
is. It's pretty
We started
phenomenal.
in COVID. It's like, yes.
Yeah, we started on the 11th. We started in November, and that was like by accident. It wasn't even planned that it was November. But today we are talking about core values. And hi, Cherise, nice to see you.
Hi.
When the idea for the 11/11 came up, it was I wanted to create, and Sheila gracefully joined me in this mission and purpose to create a space to talk about what it means to live in our core values. Because what we found through the core values quest and the different workshops we facilitated and conversations I've had and clients that I work with is that, and just living my own life, I know that when I am in alignment with my core values, life feels more fulfilling, feels more satisfying, and generally better. And what's amazing is that I worked with about 150 young people a week ago, 10 days ago, and they got the same message. When I asked them, what happens when you're in alignment with what matters to you most and your values? And they were very clear. They used the word satisfied. I feel satisfied. I feel fulfilled. I feel excited. And that's why we're doing this work, is because we want to feel aligned. We want to feel good. We want to feel, and when we're not in alignment with our values, we can feel disconnected. It's an opportunity to grow. It's an opportunity to see the world differently. It's an opportunity to make different decisions. So we came together to have these conversations because it's not easy always. It's simple in many ways, but it's not always easy to live in alignment with our values. So in a minute, I want to ask you all about where you are with your core values journey. And before I do that, I have found it useful for myself and others to remind us all what core values are, because how we talk about it in this space is a little different than some of what you might hear out there. So core values are single words or short phrases that are reflections of what matters most to you. They connect you to that highest version of yourself, the divine self, the wise mind, that part of you that is connected to something greater than you. And they're a direct pathway to that. They become our bridge as well. So that means that they bridge yourself to that divine self, and they bridge you to others, how you are out in the world. So they are words and phrases that help you find yourself in a situation, but they also help you find others in life's situations as you navigate chapters. Not always easy, but definitely not necessarily complex either. So they're a bridge. Oftentimes we'll hear them going one way or the other. Values are about how you're supposed to be doing this or that or the other thing. That's not what we talk about here. It's a different way of seeing the world. In this context, we're in or out of alignment with our values, which means if we're out of alignment, we course correct to get into alignment. If we're in alignment, even if it's difficult, then we take the steps we know to be true to ourselves, to tune in, to ask for help, and use our values to help navigate difficult situations. Or as I wrote about in my email, the storms in our life, the rain. And it is, it's 8 p.m. We're going to go have dinner after this. It's a little late, but I wanted to do it because it was important for me to, it's our 3rd year anniversary for 11/11. So I wanted to honor that. But this conversation each month is important to me. And it's important to me to connect with all of you, or each of you, not all of you, but that each of you be with Sheila here and have these conversations, because I think that we all grow, and there's a need in our world right now to have true and honest conversations about what matters most, and take out the distractions, take out the hurriedness, take out the things that get in our way of really being true, no matter what the results are in a lot of ways. So with that bit of intro, I don't want to dominate the conversation at all. I want to open it up a bit. And Sheila, do you want to say a few things before we invite others to say hello?
As always, you just said it so beautifully. I was just sitting here smiling, thinking about the evolution of the whole process, the evolution of talking about values. And this is what I find so gratifying coming month after month after month, all this time, is that I keep learning new things about myself. I keep learning about the nuances of values and how I apply them in my life every day and experience it differently. And this is a beautiful thing. I love what you said about that bridge outside of ourselves, a bridge to ourselves, back home to ourselves, but also the bridge to others. And this is like the essence of the values work, is finding that connection, finding that alignment and that core, and then taking that out in the world and making a difference and having that amazing impact, because you can see the threads, you can see the connections with other people. And that's just so powerful. And that is what sustains me all this time.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for sharing that. It's really true. And it has been such a opportunity to grow and learn from each other. And one of the things that we do in the Core Values Quest and in the programs that I've created, Mapping Your Inner Compass, and they have different names for the different approaches that I use. For the young people, I do Design Your Heart Map, which has been exciting for them to find their heart values for the little ones and the middle schoolers. But in all situations, it's about creating a set of core values that you know are yours. You test them and make sure that you're yours, and then you use them and integrate them and align your life to them. So I think that's an important thing to say. So it's definitely one where we take the time to make sure that they're ours, so they can change and mute around a little bit. But there does become a point where we put kind of our name, our stake in the ground, and say, this is what I value, so that we can start to use them in a way that's not as arbitrary as it could be in situations. So anyone want to share what resonate them, why they came today? Who would like to maybe say a word or two, or just say hello? I would love to hear from each of you, just why you're here or why you wanted to show up today. Who would like to begin? Christine.
I am glad I'm here, and it's almost 11:11, so that's what I'm just watching my clock and watching you. What is EP? You said today was EPM? Is that what you said?
I might have said CET, 8 p.m. CET. I might have written something. I don't know. My computer might have made a mistake. I mean, I was honestly typing fast, having run in from the Murray.
No, I thought you just said that, and I just want to know what it was. All right, I misheard then.
What did I say? I don't know. Does anyone know?
I don't know. I thought you said something EPM. Today was EPM. But okay, 3 years, congratulations. Because, when you start, you're just like, oh, how's this going to turn out? What's it going to be? I am staying on path, as we discuss with the water, more and more. And my biggest core value that I've been discussing here was self-care. Mm-hmm. And so today, okay, it's 11:11. I'm gonna be quiet for a minute.
Mm-hmm. 11. Yeah. Anyone wants to take a screenshot? It's only 8:11 here, so it doesn't look the same. That would be fun.
Where are you?
I'm in Paris.
Oh, okay. I missed that part.
Yeah.
Yeah, 11:11 here.
Yeah.
So in in conclusion, I'm going on vacation tomorrow. So that reinforces my self-care.
Right.
And I'm going to be on a cruise. So I'm going to be on the water now instead of consuming the water, but still a connection to the water and the flow of energy. And so I just wanted to share that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Mhm.
And as we, a lot of times in our workshops and in the work that I do individually and in different ways, we define what our core values are. And it sounds like you just kind of came up with some of that self-care languaging is what I heard, from flow and water, and some of there's imagery in there, and being on the water and in drinking the water. That sounds like a beautiful reflection of that value of self-care for yourself.
Mhm. Mhm.
So thank you for sharing that. It's so good to see you and hear the progression of when we claim our values and start to integrate them in the life, how they show up. It's like a feedback loop. The more we use them, the more they become a tool we can use to help us feel better in a moment. The more we use, and then we'll think of using them more. So it becomes this loop that when we make the commitment, oh yes, I'm in self-care or I'm in flow, and then I'm in flow, I'm drinking water, I'm on a cruise, I'm on the flowing, on the water, and can I flow in my relationships? Can I flow in how I take care of myself, or all of those kinds of things? So it becomes stronger the more we use it, which is what I heard in underneath kind of what you were saying too. So that is beautiful. And you've shown up here. It's great to see you each month as it's progressed. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. Good to be here.
Yeah, thank you. Who else would like to say hello and share a bit?
I'll go. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Jamie. I think you. Oh,
Go ahead, Jamie.
Okay.
Okay, well, I want to say hi to everyone and thank you, Christine, for water. I'm going to borrow water and add that to one of my values because, first of all, I'm Pisces and I do find incredible connection with water in a bathtub, in the ocean, in a swimming pool, and obviously drinking water. So I like that, and that'll help me with my rounding out my values because I'm still in the process of doing that. And as Amy knows, I don't know if this would help anyone, I started to put my values on little cards, almost like tarot cards or playing cards, which I'm going to print. But right now I'm doing the graphics online on Canva. So each value has its own cards. The value will be on one side and then all of the words will be on the other. And I'm very visual. And as I did this, all of my values just started to take shape. And then I started saying, wait, what about this? What about this? Once I was able to see them with a group, and I put like a little icon for each one. So I have an icon for beauty and one for ease, joy, and fun, which is one of mine, integrity. And these icons and the word, when I look at them, I'm able to kind of get like a shorthand to what that list is. And so for visual people, that may help, is just to make actual like playing cards or tarot cards, and something that I can kind of keep with me and keep in my hip pocket. So I wanted to share that.
If there, I saw one of your versions of that, and I must say, they are stunning and really inspiring. And one of the things Jamie and I had talked about was doing vision boards for your values. So you can do mini vision boards. So for self-care, Christine, you could do a mini vision board of what that looks like, and finding the words in there and phrases and imagery to help remind you what that is. And Jamie, that's what you've kind of done in this gorgeous way. And we're still in the process, so it'll probably morph a little bit and evolve.
Yes.
But that's what's so fun about it, and bringing our own sense. Really, our values are part of our identity, about who we are, and what we become. And what we do here is that they help us remember who we are when we forget, because part of being human and living in the very busy lives that we do, and the distracted lives that we do, because there are a lot of people who, our lives are distracted, some of it by choice, some of it not by choice. But our lives we can lose ourselves in that. I certainly have at times. And our values are a way back to ourselves. And if we're too locked in ourselves, or I've had those moments where I don't want to get out of bed, or I don't want to go out, I want to keep hiding from the situation, my values help me find my way out into the world as well. So in a cards like that can be helpful to help remind us how to do that and what are the things that we did. And there's different ways of doing that. So thank you for sharing that, Jamie. It's beautiful. And have you realized, or have you seen that since you've done that, they're more accessible to you?
Absolutely. And they grew. The list started to grow so naturally once I could visually see them separated and graphic and typed out with a picture. It just started to really become more concrete.
Yep.
And less stream of consciously, and just like, this is it. And so not that it's final, but it really, really started to make these groups so clear. And then what I also did is I bolded the words that appeared on more than one card. So there could be a value like being trustworthy is on 2 or 3 of them. And it's bold, right, so I can see on the list what really is the core of that core value and what appears in different ways of my values more than once. So that was interesting to see that pattern.
Right. Yes.
I love that visual representation. It just talk about bringing it to life in such a powerful way. I'm inspired to do something similar at some point. That just sounds really lovely, Jamie. Thank you.
I'll be happy to share it. You can do them so easily on Canva or on any digital.
I would love that. I would
even in a Word document, you can do it. You could even do it on an index card and handwrite
it. I know.
But to me, making it digital made it more of a fun process for me, and it kind of, in a way, took it and separated it from me. So I was able to see this on a screen and was able to understand it better than in my handwriting in a notebook. It made it just more concrete.
I totally see that. And then the interaction with the values becomes even more powerful too, because even if you find yourself at a place where you don't really know what's going on, just looking at them.
Right. Pull a card out.
So much. It's like, wow. It's like, okay, this is what it's about. I'm back on track again.
This is what I told myself.
Exactly. Love it. Love it. Love it.
Yeah. Because I also find too that we tend to think about 1 or 2 values immediately. So there's a set of 5 to 7 we all have of values. It's basically what the best practices show. If you have more than 7, they're often too many and they're often overlap in some way, too close. Less than 5, typically there's an area in our life or a part of ourselves that we have missed and that we're not honoring. So that sweet spot is between 5 and 7. So when you have that set, many of us go to certain ones more quickly than other ones. So I'll go to integrity or sustainability or even connection, but those first ones, integrity, it's all about integrity. It's all about this, whatever. And that's an important thing. But what the other values do is they round it out. So my value of creativity can say, oh, how can I look at this situation differently? How can I have more fun with it? How can I be more playful? Or my value of flourish will encourage me to go, wait a second, this is a really tough situation. I need to be in my integrity, but how can I bring the energy of blossoming and blooming into it? How can I bring the hope and the lightness that flourish has to it? The grounding too, because it's about soil and planting seeds and things like that. But how can I bring that to a situation? Not only my integrity. Integrity is a great value, but I overuse it a little bit too much. And that can make my life very rigid, as opposed to adding these other elements that are, when you're flourishing or planting things. I wrote about weather, water and storms and wind. Those are all part of flourishing, navigating those forms. Integrity is a little bit more like, we got to do this, the right thing to do. And I'm still going to do the right thing because it's the right thing. But these other values that I don't think of as readily help me do it in a way that makes me happy and that I can live more fully and freely. Did that make sense? Hopefully a little bit.
Absolutely. Yes.
So thank you for sharing that, Jamie. I mean, her cards are stunning too. So
Looking forward to seeing them.
yeah, yeah. So,
Cherise, can I go next?
do you want to say hi?
Thanks. That sounds like a great idea, Jamie, and putting it on Canva. Canva brings is such a wonderful platform to use. I might try that. But I'm happy to be here because it's a Saturday, and I'm usually always working, so it just depends on when the 11th, what day it falls on. So I'm just happy to be able to join you guys today. Thank you.
It's so consistently wonderful to see you, Cherise. You're just a bright light. So it's really good. I'm glad you're here on this Saturday. One of the things I do like about the 11-11, the way we've done it the last 3 years, that every month is a different day. So people who have different schedules can come at different months. And there's some people who, like yourself, schedule it when it's on a weekend, a Saturday or Sunday, so you can come. And sometimes there's a lunch period someone can take that's a little early. And, it just depends. But it allows for all the different ways we live our life in today's world, because it's different than it has been before. So, and Jen, I don't want to put you on the spot. I know your camera's off. Would you want to say a quick hello? It's great to have you with us. You're also welcome to listen if that feels better to you too.
Hi. I also have my mute on because I live in a place where there's a very loud train that goes by my house like every few minutes. So I didn't want to add that into the audio experience here, but I'm very happy to hear all of you, and I would also echo that I almost never can come to these because of work or just other commitments, but I am able to come today because it's a weekend as well, and just happy to listen and get some. I guess what I'm trying to say is, it gives me some more specific motivation to really pay more attention, and I'm trying really hard to pay more attention these days because there are just so many things pulling me, and so it's not easy, but it's important. So that's why I'm here.
Thank you, Jen. It's really great to have you here and to hear you. And I'm glad you could come too on this Saturday. And it's a bit loud behind me. I don't know if you can hear the neighbors. Okay.
Nope, not at all.
All right,
good. I'm going to mute myself.
Living Rich apartment building, my Airbnb. But what you said was really touching to me too. It's about paying attention. The values work, or it's not even work, but living from the frame of our core values, looking for the alignment in situations, is about paying attention. And it's a form of mindfulness, absolutely. Because each of those times we're making a choice, when we're aware of it or not. We're choosing certain things, whether it's where we're going to have dinner, where we're going to go on a trip, where and how we're going to react to a situation, a social media post, or a friend's phone call, a job, a client, our time to ourselves, how we're going to choose to care for ourselves. All of those decisions are moments that will either be in alignment or out of alignment with ourselves and our choices. And sometimes it's both. Sometimes it's, it's this or that. But for the most part, it's pretty clear. So the paying of attention means that we're not going to end up like, a year from now going, what the hell happened? Like, what is my life? I've already done that. That's why I started this work. I already ended up in those moments of like, whose life is this? How did I get here? Wait a second. And the truth is, it wasn't necessarily one big decision. It was a lot of little decisions along the way that I didn't tune into myself. I didn't check. And the values, when we have our set of values and we're clear about them, help us make the best choices for ourselves that are in alignment. And if we don't, which is because we're human and there'll be moments I don't do something that's in alignment, then I can honor that. And I'm like, oh yeah, I was a little bit out of alignment there. Okay, how can I course correct now? Rather than, I don't have to, there's no shame, judgment, beating people up. My concern with values often is people externally in the world, I hear them used a lot against people. Like, you're this or that. They judge you for not being in a certain value or things like that. But that's not the values framework we have here. That's just more kind of vitriol, anger, and opportunity to, harm others. That's a different thing altogether. But here, it's a place for us to really honor ourselves, listen in, check in. Are we doing, what is our motivation here? Jen talked about motivation. How can I drink more water to care for myself? How can I show up on a Saturday night on Zoom to be with all of you in Paris, right? And I wrote about in my email too, this is my 3rd time to Paris, and each trip was really different. And yet I am more fully and what's nice about this trip is I'm more fully myself right now. It is not that my life is super awesome in every way, which way, where I could say, yes, 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 home run, home run, home run. But it is awesome. Even in the discomfort, even in the challenging times, I know in my heart and soul that whatever happens, I'm walking that path that's in alignment. And if I fall down or get pushed down or any of those things that are beyond my control, then I just trust that I'm moving in the right direction as best I can. And it's opportunity to grow, So I can dance in the rain a little bit. So it's cold sometimes, I'm glad I brought my North Face, but it wasn't I wasn't like, oh, bummer, it's a terrible, it's ruined our trip. Not at all. Not at all. I had a cream puff yesterday that blew my mind.
Ooh. I love it.
So yeah. But yeah, glutinous and all, because I can't handle gluten in the States, but here it wasn't bothering me with an enzyme I took. It was great.
Completely different. Yeah.
It's
I mean,
cool.
you're the invitation is to live life, right? And you're embodying that right now in your on your trip, just living life as it shows up, life as it comes. And this is the wonderful thing about this is the connection again around values, because this is about the quality of how you live your life, right?
Right.
It's the quality that everything it doesn't need to be perfect. As perfect as that's a concept, right? But it's like, as you weather, no pun intended, weather life's challenges, whatever they might be, it's having that sense of I'm just flowing with life. And again, the water, the flow, it's like this flow. And your values really help you on that journey, whether it's like you're visually thinking about a road, or in a body of water, and traversing and navigating a body of water, whatever it is, there's flow involved in that. And the values kind of help you steer
Exactly.
in the direction that keeps you aligned, that keeps you afloat, keeps you in a place where it's like, okay, it's not perfect, but damn, it's good. Still, it's like, yeah, it's good, because there is that alignment. And that's the thing that I love about this. It's the thing that I love about embracing it. That's what makes it so powerful to talk about month after month after month, and invite people to this work, because it is all about choosing something that's going to then support you on your journey.
Absolutely. And beautifully said. And pay attention, and that's through paying attention, right? And making those choices and bringing the beauty into it, like Jamie did with creating these cards to remember ourselves. Like, you're really reminding yourself of you, in a sense. And The same with bringing water into the water on the flow, or any of the, or showing up on a call like this to just go, oh, right. I remember me in this, and I can bring more of me in these different ways to others, right? So as I practice self-care, I can bring care or flow or time to others in a way that is not going to diminish myself or is people pleasing, doing it for other reasons. It's done at a place from a full cup, not an empty cup. And that is a glorious way to live. It really is. And I get to see it differently from the different times that I've been here. I mean, it just so happens, I mean, people come to the same places at different times. Like I've been in Paris in October, November, every time I've been here, which is just so funny because people are like, go to Paris in the spring. Like, I love the fall, by the way, so I'm happy here in the fall, but it's just so funny that I didn't plan it that way. It's just what happened that way. So life is, but these are markers, right? Because they're different chapters of our lives. And people often ask too, and I don't know if any of you all have been curious about this too, but do our values change over the course of our lives through the different chapters of our life? And I think the answer is yes and no. It's a bit of a dialectical there. When I was working with the teens last week, they did the same program last year, so it's a year later. And I talked to them about how important it is to do it again, because these young people don't spend a lot of time looking inward. They're think they have a lot of information that's coming towards them, but they're not always clear about what is most important to them. But by doing something like the coursework every year, they can compare it to where they were last year. And they got that. So when you're young, in particular, in your teens and even your early 20s, checking in once a year and how they change is important, because at that time, there's a lot of influence around you and they're still learning who they are. As we grow, what I have found in the different chapters of my life, that there's certain values that are true all the way through. They may have changed in their nuance. They may have changed in a word choice that I would use. Mm-hmm. But really, they are the same in and of itself. So even if I wasn't always aware of it either. Jamie, I think you and I were talking about, weren't we talking about creativity for me? I think we were talking about, right? So creativity is one that I didn't own in myself for a long time, till probably my 40s or so. And yet it took me a few minutes to go back during my own process of identifying my core values to recognize it's been there all along. I just didn't see it because I wasn't looking for it. But as a child, I used to love to look at the light coming through the window and framing through the different panes of the window, going out into the woods behind my house and looking up at the sun dappling through the leaves, or listening to the creek and how it flowed over the little rocks in my backyard. And before they built the new development behind there were horses that would come up and, visit us through the fence when I grew up in Wilmington, Delaware. And so there were all these moments that were very playful and creative, and I'd make collages and all sorts of funny things like that. I just dismissed them as, kids stuff. But when I used the lens of my value of creativity and looked back, it, in a way, gave me so much more of myself in my life. It changed how I saw my past and changed how I saw my childhood, because I wasn't able to claim it yet. And so it happened later in life for me. And I had identified I'm not creative. That became like a false belief about myself. And yet I would say now it's part of my core identity. And I think it always has been. Did it change? I don't know. Maybe it was uncovered. And that's why I think it's so important to go through this process and to look back and forward and how we are in the present moment, because it's both a reclaiming and a opportunity to see ourselves in our past. It's a reclaiming and a reframing in many ways too. Does anyone relate to that? Has anyone had an experience similar to that? If anyone wants to share, I'm happy to hear. Christine.
I have had that exact experience with not claiming my creativity. I always used to say, I'm not creative. And I have a friend now that is a professional artist, and she like not yells, but corrects me. Don't say that. You are creative. You use words. She said, I use a paintbrush. I use a sewing machine. You use words. So people create differently, and you have to honor that. And so I like what you just said, reclaim and reframe, because I just always used to say, I'm not creative. But
right.
I still don't say I am creative, but I recognize that creativity can come in many forms and in many ways.
Right. Absolutely. And as you look at your values there, I imagine creativity, if it isn't a value, it lies somewhere in one of your values that will be identified at some point when it, in your set of 5 to 7 core values. So
Why?
who else would like to maybe share on that reclaiming a part of ourselves from a different chapter in our life, or reframing what we once saw one way into another, and who we are today looking back?
I'd like to share that I'm reframing beauty, which is one of my core values. And Amy and I had the discussion of my mother. I used the word indoctrinating me very young about beauty, and it hurts to be beautiful, and her tweezing my eyebrows very young. And she was always very glamorous and really prioritized beauty. And beauty is one of my core values, but not in the same way. Like, I love dressing up and I love beautiful aesthetic things, but I don't have the necessary identity of beauty in I'm not gonna say narcissistic way, but in a way that labels me, but more in a way that fulfills me. Like, not in a way that's mandatory to be beautiful and mandatory to show up a certain way, but in a way that fulfills me and that makes me happy. And so I had to really look at beauty, and Amy and I talked about it, and to really reframe it from how I was brought up, with the value of beauty being more of something that we had to do as women, or we had to do in our certain, we were in the interior design world, so beauty was very important, but more in a freedom way, how to be free with beauty and to have it as a positive thing and not such a mandatory requirement. If that makes sense. So that's something that I'm working with, because I didn't want to take beauty off of my core values because it's important, but really to look at the healthy parts of it and the parts that maybe I grew up with, which were not as healthy, and to kind of eliminate those.
Right. I think that's one of the extraordinary parts of this process is not only identifying the values, but defining them for yourself. Defining them in a way that really has meaning for you, right? And beauty is one of those, right? Because beauty is one of my values. My values invite beauty and creativity into every moment. And I mean something different, but I'm very clear about what I mean by that, right? Because there's even in the definition of what beauty is, like finding beauty in things that others might think may not be beautiful. I can find the beauty there. And that's something that sparks me and enlivens me to be able to do that, and to go from that narrow definition that we learned, from our parents or from society about what beauty is. And it's like, no, I struggle, because it's like, no, I want to claim beauty, because beauty is so important to me. The aesthetics and beauty is so important, but it's in a different way. And I've been able to define it for myself in a way that just feels like, yes, bring it on. I'm going to find it no matter what. And I'm going to enjoy it and revel in it. And it sounds like you're doing that for yourself, that reclaiming. That's so powerful to be able to do that. Christine, I think you were going to say something.
Yeah, I was going to add, and it's funny, as you were talking, well, first let me start. Jamie, let me just say, I see the beauty in your home. You have artwork. I have some, but rare. You have beautiful lighting. You have fresh flowers. So I see you embracing a certain beauty in your environment. And then Sheila, as you were talking, and I'm looking at your flowers and your hair. I love your hair. There's just
Thank you.
always so many beautiful things around us and within us that we take for granted.
Right.
So I just wanted to add that.
That's beautiful. And that's the point. By identifying, when we name a value like that, beauty becomes more than a description of space or of our life or of our hair or clothes. It has a resonance to it that is spiritual. It's depth, it's energetic, and it lifts us up. So when you identify, yes, this is my full, we say when we pick our value, we want it to be a full body yes. If it's not yet, let's work on it, right? So if it's beauty, that's yes, from head to toe, fingers to what toes, everything, the whole body, the wingspan, high, low, all around, just full body yes. And then with that, it lifts us up in those moments. And then we know from our hearts, minds, body, souls that it's beauty in this other way. And that just makes our life more energetic, more exciting, even when it's raining outside, or literally or figuratively. How about that? Or storm brewing, tornadoes coming, whatever happens. We know in our hearts and minds, which is where the values lie. They lie both in both. To live a life really fulfilled with purpose, and connected to ourselves and others in just a kind of a profound way. So I just want to say hi, Jessica. You came in a little bit after we've been talking. Did you want to say a quick hello or ask any questions?
Hi, yeah, I'm sorry. I was actually, oh, sorry. Ooh, what's happening there? I was having a hard time signing on actually. I was using the Eventbrite app and it wasn't giving me the Zoom link. So I actually had to go out and come on to it with the browser, the computer browser to be able to get it. So that's what took me so long. And I actually even sent a message to the organizer and I was like, how do I get on? So yeah, it was just I had to uninstall the app now. I'm hoping that I guess I'm just gonna have to use a browser from here on. The app seems to not be working very well. But I'm here and I'm sorry that I'm late. Thank you all for having me.
Thank you. If you want, I can also send you the recording when we're done if you want to listen to anything you missed.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you so much. I'll put my email in the chat. Thank you.
Yes, please do. Yeah.
Thank you for persevering. And
Yeah.
sticking it out and making it a point to come. That speaks volumes about how you see values in your life and showing up. And we're very grateful to have you no matter when you come. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you. Exactly. And it's the same link every month. So once we have a link, you can come back. The same link each month on the 11th. And it's showing up today is paying attention. Showing up today is that opportunity to care for oneself and bring that light into our lives, no matter what is happening outside of us, inside of us, and to choose differently in those moments. So thank you, Jessica. I just saw you. I'm gonna make this down. We're getting close to the end, and I may jump off a little early to go have my dinner if anyone doesn't mind. Full hour. Before Ella goes out. But does anyone have who would like to share something final about today, or something that they surprised them or excites them, or would like to share?
This is my first 11/11, so thank you, and I hope to be back on other 11 going forward. I'm so happy to share this work with other people. It's really such deep, powerful, and easy work. Hard but easy at the same time, and it's great to connect with myself. and everybody else in this room.
Love that. Love that. Thank you so much, Jamie. I'm looking forward to seeing those cards. I'm just like so interested.
I will share them. I'm happy to share. I'll share the link with Amy, and if anyone wants to.
Beautiful. Thank you.
I'm gonna wait until they're finished. They're almost done. I want to wait until they're done.
Okay, great.
Yeah. And
Love it.
Jamie's a designer, and boy, her eye is just beautiful,
Thank you.
very inspiring.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I was at an exhibit today. It was Picasso and Gertrude Stein. Did you see that, Jamie, when you were here?
I didn't see that. No.
It was a great exhibit. It was at the Luxembourg Gardens, I guess, gallery space, and how they were friends and they kind of really influenced one another. But there was a great quote, and what I really appreciated was because it was similar in that terms of the creativity and how to look at our lives a little bit differently. So I don't want to mess up the quote. So and it said, a writer should write with his eyes and a painter paint with his ears. And what that means to me and what we do with the values is we get different perspectives from when we have a set of values. We have an opportunity to write with our eyes, not just listening to what we hear, and we can paint with our ears. That's not like something you would think about doing. So our values offer us this perspective to do things in a slightly different way that gives us these opportunities to live our lives creatively, but also more than that with resonance. I use that word again, by paying attention, right? To paint with your ears is going to take a different level of paying attention. You're going to not just look at what you're doing, you're going to listen. If you're going to be, writing with your eyes, it's not just staring at the page, but you're going to look around you and discover things. So I thought that was poetic, and Richard Stein said that, and relevant to what we're talking about today, and how we frame the world around us and pay attention to not get distracted in our hurriedness or in all the things that are vying for our attention too. So I wanted to share that today. It was fun to see an exhibit too. I love seeing art.
No doubt. That's fabulous. Thank you for that. That's lovely.
And who else would like a final, say something before we go? Anyone? No pressure, of course, but we love having you.
Have a great Thanksgiving.
Oh my God, that's great. How that's so soon. Christine.
Thank you. You too. That's like, oh my gosh, that's coming up soon. Woo.
I know, that was frightening. To really next yes. Weeks, 10 days or something. That's crazy. Wow. But anyone else want to say anything? I don't want to cut anyone off if they didn't want to. Any final questions too? I'm happy to answer a question too, if there are any that came.
Where are you going for dinner tonight?
Well, no. So I'm in the 11th, and then I don't know where we're going to go today. So
you'll just walk in someplace fabulous. You can't go wrong.
Yeah, we're going to walk over to Ella's apartment in the second, and so we're going to see where we could go that isn't going to be. Awesome. Yeah, I was looking for a French Vietnamese place because I used to love having French Vietnamese food when I used to go to the Cannes Film Festival, but I don't know if we're going to be able to do that tonight. So, and then I think we're going to Italian tomorrow night, and we maybe go one of the Mama's restaurant. I don't know. So I'll tell you.
How long are you there for?
I fly back Tuesday.
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Yes, absolutely. Enjoy.
That's on my bucket list.
Yeah. It was on my bucket list to come and have a different experience here and reframe, pay attention to all that goes right. And I will say it is happening.
It's fabulous. That is fabulous. Yes.
I love
Yes.
where I'm staying. It's where we're staying in an Airbnb in the 11th neighborhood, which is a little bit different than nowhere else where I'd stayed before. And it's a little bit more local. It feels great. And it's fun to stay in an Airbnb. I hadn't done that before.
Lovely, lovely. And here's some more cream puffs.
Here's some more cream puffs. The me.
Enjoy.
I'm saying it wrong, but it was really good.
Love it.
Mamish? I said it right. I kept saying the name wrong. Mamish is the boulangerie where the cream puffs are. Did you ever go there, Jamie? Do you know it?
No, no.
Add it to your list. It is,
Okay, text it to me.
yeah. And the cream puff is called a choux, Choix. I did not know that. Oh, you, sorry. Ella can hear me. I'm getting the actual,
Information
real
and
time. Talk
information
about
in real
paying
time.
Yeah, real time corrections. Yeah.
Love that.
But I'm going to get one more before I go. I was counting them instead of sheep last night as I was still had some jet lag. Cream puffs going by my eyes. So fun.
Such a delight to see all of you and to meet some of you for the first time. And yes, please come again. This is very lovely. Always get so much out of these experiences. And so keep coming back.
Keep coming back. And if you do want the recording, they're posted. If you're in the community, I post them there. So we have all the 1111s in the community. And if not, I'm happy to send you one for being on. So send me your email and I'm happy to send you a direct link to YouTube as well.
Enjoy. Christine, enjoy your cruise.
Enjoy your
Oh my goodness,
Thank
it's
you.
so delightful. Whatever you might be doing, just do it with just the presence and consciousness and intent of just enjoying life and letting it unfold for you. It's such a gorgeous way to spend a day, a life. Yeah.
And I hope your creative way of words transfers over to that piece of paper.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's
I'm gonna
beautiful.
use my eyes and I'm gonna be writing.
There you
Notice
go.
the beauty
Oh
and
my
write.
goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Love it. Love it. Yes.
All right. Lots of love to you all. Please
All right.
again. And
Absolutely.
Be well, everyone.
okay.
Enjoy. Safe
That's
travels, Amy.
Thank you.
Bonsoir.
Okay. Bye.
Okay.